Hi, welcome back to PC Builder. I'm Jason. I am super excited for this month's Boost My Build. So this is a video series, of course, where you submit your PC part picker list and we go through them, tear them up, and boost them up as much as we can. The added degree of difficulty this month is Black Friday and all the new launches that are coming. But don't worry, we are up to the task. Big thank you to everybody for 75,000 subscribers. It means so much. And remember, give the video a like if you get value out of it. That's how we've gotten here. That's how YouTube knows that this is the kind of video content that people want to see. And of course, subscribe and click the bell icon. That way you get notified when we go live. All right, let's start off with Chase Lamandola. Hey, Chase, you love the channel, you love the videos. Hey, thank you so much. You're inspired to build your first ever gaming desktop. That's awesome. I'm so excited. Sorry about the market. Not much we can do about it, but let's go from there. You want to do high FPS, 1080p competitive gaming, League of Legends, Call of Duty Warzone, Valorant, Overwatch. Okay, great. Those are actually pretty easy to run games, except for Call of Duty is a little tougher, depending on your settings. Mid FPS, 1440p gaming on others. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Red Dead Redemption 2, Ryzen 0 Dawn. You got a $2,000 budget. It has to include everything, including the monitor and keyboard. That's gonna be tough. Okay, let's see what you got. All right, so we've got the Ryzen 5 5600X, great. We've got a 240 millimeter all-in-one liquid cooler. This is one of the ones I've recommended in the past. It's a good budget one. You've got an ITX motherboard here. Was that intentional? What's your case? You know, you got a Fractal Design Mesh 5C. You have an ATX case. All right, well, one of two things. Either one, you just made a mistake. You didn't in PC Part Picker and you just literally clicked the wrong one. That happens to me too. Or we don't understand the difference between ITX and ATX, and we'll go over that in just a second. Okay, so then we've got 16 gigs of DDR4 3600 CL18, like it. And then we've got the whole 251, yeah. We've got the whole like micro boot drive thing that I just never understand. So if you're sitting at home and there's a good reason for this that I just don't get, please let me know in the comments. To me, it's just a price to performance problem, and we'll jump into that in a second. We've got the 3060 Ti. You say you've purchased it for $650. Mr. Bear is jumping into the frame now. And then we've got the Fractal Design Mesh 5C, which I really like this case. And then you got a Windows license for $109. That's hard on a tight budget where we're trying to include everything. We'll go over that. Then we've got a very expensive 120 millimeter RGB fan. And then we've got the Samsung Odyssey G5, one of the better budget 1440p gaming monitors that I've identified. I think at its current pricing, because it often goes down to like 240, 250. You might want to check out the Gigabyte M27Q instead, but pricing might vary in your region too. Either one's good. The Gigabyte one I think is a little better. Then we've got the Redragon K552 wired gaming keyboard, which I've called in a previous video. I think this is one of the better entry-level mechanical keyboards. For $30, I think it's one of the better entry-level ones. What would I do differently in this build? Well, first of all, let's jump into the motherboard. So let's just make sure we understand what the motherboard size is. So this is an ITX board. You can see it's only got one PCIe slot, and it's gonna it'll fit. You can put it in. It would be fine in that case. It's just gonna look a little weird in this nice big roomy case. So then I think our options are either we go with an ATX motherboard and we swap this out, or we swap the case out with a small form factor build. This is your first PC build. I would not recommend a small form factor for your very first PC. The cable management is much more challenging than I think a lot of people acknowledge. A lot of the builds you see on YouTube, these folks have been doing it for a while. Even I have challenges with cable management. My wife yells at me, why is this taking so long? I'm like, the cable management has to be perfect. Just change the motherboard. That's gonna be the easiest thing here to do. If you're not sure which board to get, of course, check out my best motherboards for, it's popped right to the top, for Ryzen 5000. This is the one I want, the Gigabyte B550 AORS Pro AC. Memory is absolutely fine here. I don't like the drives. I'll tell you why. Okay, $35. Actually, that's a good price for a 250 gigabyte SSD, but I wouldn't buy a 250 gigabyte SSD anyway. For only about $10 more, you can get a 500 gigabyte version of this. So the price to performance on the smaller drives is really terrible. I would frankly love us, can we get the what does the 2 terabyte version of this cost? $189, but that's obviously a lot more storage. I'm gonna tell you, just to save you some money, because when I look at the overall cost, you were at $260, now we've dropped you down because we got the right motherboard in there. You wanna hit $2,000, I'd ditch this 250 gig SSD. Start off with the 1 terabyte and see where you're at. You can always add another 1 terabyte in another M.2 slot. I like the case. Let's talk about the Windows license. Okay, so there's a couple different things you can do with Windows. One is you can just never license it, and you can use it with a watermark and some limited personalization features. I have a couple PCs where I do that. Shh. The Microsoft police are not coming for you anytime soon. You just have to put up with a watermark. Then the second thing you can do is you can buy a license from Microsoft for like $109. Absolute 100% legitimate way to do it. Or you can buy something from a key reseller where you can get the keys for like, $15 or $20. We'll have a discount code, the whole thing. So just consider that in terms of your overall budget quest. But let's fix the case fans, because I think $27, $28 on a 120 millimeter ARGB fan is really kind of ridiculous. It does, of course, come with 2 included all black fans. You could just put those in the front, and then I think what you're planning to do is use this as the exhaust fan. That would work, but I'll tell you, this Cooler Master fan, the Halo ones, we put these in our 5600X gaming build. Because it's got like the double ring, these things look really awesome. I just have to say, they just look freaking amazing. Newegg's got them either $15, you buy them for $25 and $10 mail-in rebate, or Amazon's got them for $18. Let's go ahead and add this in instead, and let's kick out this NZXT fan. So what you're gonna do then is you're gonna take the 2 black fans, you're gonna put those in the front intake where they can't really see the RGB anyway, that's fine. And then you're gonna use this for the exhaust, and you're gonna have these 2 fans here for the exhaust as well. I think that's a perfectly legitimate air setup for you. What do you want for a gaming mouse? One of the mice that I like, doesn't break the bank, is just the G502. It's the wired hero version of it, right? This is something that probably will go on sale on Black Friday, so maybe don't buy it right now, just keep an eye on it. So overall, we came down a little bit for $2,028. Listen, if we got rid of the Windows license, we could come down under your budget. I think we've got a nice PC without some of the gimmicks. We've fixed the motherboard, which is really good, and we've kind of streamlined your SSD layout. Okay, next we've got Penguins. They want a PC for gaming. Probably won't be playing games that need amazing graphics. Budget $650. We also have Min B7. Thanks for all the tips on optimizing builds. I'm glad you like them. They're hoping to do some 1080p on Minecraft, Valorant, Genshin Impact. Their budget is $550, $600. And now both of them are opting for a Ryzen 5 5600G build. Let's take one of these builds here. Okay. And let's see if we can optimize these. Now, let's try and hit that $600 price. I did that in the video that I just released a couple of days ago. From this video, we went all through the Ryzen 5 5600G. Should you buy it? Should you consider something out? Who is it right for? What kind of performance do you get from the integrated graphics? The best motherboards for it and everything else. So let's go through, because I see you've got a Gigabyte B450 DS3H, which is gonna be a problem. Good memory, you got DDR4 3200 CL16. Good SSD. I actually think there's some other SSDs right now on super sale. Keep checking Amazon, but I'll also put them down in links in the description. Fantex Eclipse P360A. This is actually the case I recommended in that video if you didn't want the ultra budget one that I was working with. EVGA BQ 500 watt power supply, and then you're gonna go with the included cooler. Okay. And that you can do for $537. Let's talk about why the motherboard's gonna be a problem. You are absolutely right to go with the B450 here. Here is why. 5600G does not have PCIe Gen 4. It only comes with PCIe Gen 3. I don't think that's gonna be a problem. It's not gonna be a problem probably for 4 or 5 years at the budget level you're working at. Now, if you were building a brand new gaming rig with a 6900 XT or RTX 3090, yeah, I would say no. Get something with higher performance. But for your level of performance and the graphics cards that you're likely to upgrade in the future, there probably isn't going to be a big difference between a 5600G and a 5600X. So B450 boards are great. The problem you're going to run into is that not all the B450 boards have BIOSes that will work with the 5600G, and you're going to end up being stuck with a board that's not going to help you. So none of the Gigabyte boards that I'm aware of in the B450 range have BIOS flashback, and that is an issue. So if we definitely want to save money, there are a couple of boards, however, that I would really look at. All of the MSI boards and a number of the ASUS re-released boards do have BIOS flashback. Let's just go through some of them right now. I would recommend really taking a look at the ASUS Tough Gaming B450 Plus 2. Now, I was able to pick it up on a sale for $82. It often goes on sale for less than $100. Right now it's all the way back up to 109. However, it's got an ALC 1220 audio codec on it. And to me, it's just like, yeah, you're already compromising enough in the graphics department. Let's at least get some good sound going on this thing. Where are we at now? We've got $569. Now, I know you didn't want to spend a ton of money, but I would consider getting a slightly bigger power supply if you're ever going to go up to like a 3060 Ti or 3070. You do need a fan for this case though. So that is one thing I would say. Let's grab you a case fan. Now, it doesn't have to be an ARGB fan, but you are getting an ARGB case. Cooler Master Circuit Flow for 10 bucks. We do also have the Cooler Master fan. I love these fans. They look great, but you're on a budget. Let's just save a couple of bucks on that fan. Overall, what else would I do differently? I think the SSD is fine. Again, look for sales on that. And on the CPU cooler, I would strongly consider, just for noise and for anything else, any of these 4 heat pipe mid-tower heat sinks are going to do fine for you. So there you go. For $600, you've now got this with a halfway decent case, a little bit of LED on it. Overall, we didn't boost your build that much, but we just kind of showed you some of the different things you can do while you wait for the graphics card market to sort itself out, or while you just build a cheap gaming PC. All right, erase me later. $2,000, $2,500 budget with a monitor, but not a GPU because you have an RTX 3090. Goals for top-end gaming, music production, CPU, RAM heavy usage, video editing, and you've got some concerns on the motherboard choice. So what do we got for like 5900X, 50, what the? You have an Intel build, an 11th gen i7. Listen, it's not that you can't do this work with Intel. Let's take a time out. If production workloads are the thing that you really want to do and also game, then let's focus on that first. And right now, 11th gen Intel at the high end, the i7 and i9 level are simply not there. They're fine, but why get something that's just fine for the money that you're going to spend? Why not get the best? Because I can get you the best. If you're like I have to have Intel person, maybe wait for Alder Lake should be here like any day now, but I'd go with AMD on this one. Your CPU cooler's fine. The motherboard is actually a good motherboard for a Z590. To me, total overkill. Okay, you're going with DDR4 3600 CL16, 2 kits of it, so you got 64 gigs of memory. It's tons of memory. The drive. So I really like this as a budget gaming drive. The T-Force Cardea Zero Z330. It's a 1 terabyte drive. And I recommended it in my best SSDs for gaming. You're not just doing gaming though. You're going to be probably moving around a lot of files and things. I would recommend at least getting a higher end, higher performance PCIe Gen 3 drive, or look into even a PCIe Gen 4 drive. You've got 2 terabytes of hard drive storage. Was that like cold storage for files and stuff? That's okay. $45, it is cheap. You got the Fantex P600S. Okay, and then you got a big power supply. Then we've got, I just don't understand this. So we've got a 1080p monitor for a 3090. Oh, let's do so. I see some things here. If we're going to boost your build for production, we got to go Ryzen here. You're just wasting your money otherwise. So let's do some movie magic and let's jump back and see what we've got. So we've got the Ryzen 9 5950X. That is the top of the line right now, production oriented unless you want to go Threadripper, or until Alder Lake comes out and we see what the benchmarks are there. I have added to that the Arctic Liquid Freezer 2 360. Now that CPU does run quite hot if you're really going to push it. So I've actually gone with a slightly higher performance cooler. You can stick with yours if you want. The Arctic is better though. That's all I'm going to say about it, and it's a little bit cheaper. I've gone with a really phenomenal motherboard, which is the B550 Gaming Carbon Wi-Fi. Now this has the front panel USB Type-C header on it for your case. It's got an amazing ALC 1220 audio codec. The price on this motherboard when it first released was totally obscene. It was like $270. And it's come all the way down to about $200, which is about where it should have been to start with. And at that price, it is, to me, one of the best price to performance high-end B550 motherboards. I'm sticking with your memory kit. For your drive, I've gone with the Western Digital SN750 2 terabyte. This is a high-performance Gen 3 drive. I really like it. Overall, I think if you're going to do some big file transfers, moving a lot of files around, this is that's really where you want to be. I've actually increased your storage, your Western Digital Blue, from 2 terabytes to 4 terabytes for only like 20 bucks more. So what the heck, if that's what you're going to use. And then I'm lining you up with the Gigabyte M27Q for $309. Overall though, let's see, for $2,300, this system is going to absolutely smoke both in productivity as well as gaming the 11th gen Intel system you had before. So there you go. Your build is boosted. Alucard Sparta. All right. Hi, Jason. Love the videos. Can't wait for more. So here's your current list. The build's main theme is around the AMD Radeon 6700 XT Hellhound Spectral White 1440p gaming build, budgeted $2,500 to $3,000. You're not sure about the case, it looks like. It would have been below $2,500 if it wasn't for the GPU being near double MSRP, in addition to it being white for a premium cost. Well, let's just see. Okay, challenge accepted. Let's see about that. Okay, so what are you really at? $2,841. Woo, okay. And what do we get the graphics card for? About $900. That's about what they run for. Okay, so I'm seeing all white. You've got a 5900X. That's a big CPU for gaming. And you've got Helene Lee Galahad AIO 360 with it. Obviously, big CPU, big cooling. I like the motherboard. It's the NZXT N7. It's one of only 2 all-white boards. The other one is made by Colorful. It's a micro ATX board, though. You've got 2x16 of DDR. Yeah, sadly, this is single rank memory now. I know a lot of people don't know that. A lot of these kits are now coming single rank, even the 2x16 kits. So unfortunately, getting 32 gigs doesn't really help gaming performance right now with a lot of kits. It just has to do with the silicon shortage. What is going on with your storage situation though? You've got a 2 terabyte SATA drive. You've got a 1 terabyte Gen 4 drive and NVMe. And then you've got 2 terabyte NVMe drive. It's a little kind of cuckoo banana pants. Do we need this much storage? Like, what are we doing with all this? And why this varying speeds? Why do we need a white power supply? We have a case that doesn't have the power supply window in it. So if it's going to be behind the power supply shroud, I know you're kicking around a couple of cases. I'm trying to think, do any of those cases show the power supply or are they all hidden? I think they're all hidden. Or $150 for 850 watts, that's a lot of money. If you're just buying it because it comes with like white cables, you can get white cable extensions. Let me find some. You can get this for $26. This is the all white one. If you want like white and black for some highlights, maybe you want some blue highlights with your white build, because the Hellhound I think has that blue, the blue spectral fans on it. So this might go well with it. We're talking like $26 for that, not double the price of the power supply. So let's take a look. I think that we can do a lot better than $2,800 here. Let's get started. Number one, I'm going to give you permission basically to cut your build down. It sounds like that's almost what you're asking for. So let's do that. I'm going to go with 5600X. No gaming performance is worth that much money. It's very tiny over the 5600X. Go 5800X if you have some reason for more cores and threads, like production workloads, but otherwise, no. Let's go with right sizing it. CPU cooler. Now we don't need as much cooling. Definitely don't need a 360 AIO. In fact, let's go with this Snow. And it's only $85 for the id cooling zoom flow. Now it also has on the pump head here, and it's got really nice accents on the pump, just like the Lee & Lee does. And it's got nice ARGB on the fans. I think overall, great little performer, especially since we're only cooling a 5600X. This should be phenomenal, and it'll look great too. The memory, okay, like I said, there's unfortunately, sadly, last year you probably would have gotten a dual rank kit here, but now you're going to end up with a single rank kit. And I know from Crucial on those ballistics kits for sure. So if we're going to do that, we might as well just go 2x8. Oh, well, we could go with 3600 CL18 for only $2 more. I was going to get this Team Force kit. I think this RGB, by the way, looks really, really slick. And for $2 more, let's go with a 3600 CL18 kit. Boom. If you want, you can get 2 of those kits. It's going to be about as much as you were spending. And you will, at that point, definitely get dual rank, because you'll go 4x8. We're going to say no to the SATA drive. I don't know why. Is that an existing drive? If so, there's a price in there. I'm confused by it. We also don't need Gen 4 storage. I'd go Kingston A2000 here. This is a really nice performance drive for 90 bucks instead of what we just had for like, more than double that. Besides, we don't have to worry about the color drives because the nice thing about this motherboard is it's got these plates over the tops of the M.2s. And then the power supply, right? So 850, that's a lot of power, 414. Okay, so we maybe just a little a hedge over 600 is what we need. We could get away with 600 in this build, but let's get you a good one. How about Corsair RM650X? This is a good unit. And what are we at now? We're at just under $2,100. We've saved you almost, well, at least $800. So we've cut money off. We've increased your performance. Thank you so much for joining us on this month's Boost My Build. Of course, if you got value of the video, remember to give it a big like. It really does help out the channel. And thank you so much for 75,000 subscribers. Join us if you haven't already by clicking subscribe and the bell icon. Of course, if you don't want the Boost My Build goodness to end, I'm going to put another Boost My Build right here. You can check this out. More Boost My Build awesomeness. You know you want to. And we'll catch you on the next one.